What's up, Octomath?
So,
Oh, nothing. Just waiting for somebody to come in and back me up on Earth being a sphere. These people won't listen to me.
what can we do?
Crazy flat earthers, man. I mean, they tell us that the surface of water at rest measures flat, which is true, but
Yeah.
then they say the Earth can't be a sphere because the surface of the Earth is made up of 70% water. Wait, that kind of
Mm,
makes sense. So if the surface of water is flat and 70% of the Earth is water on the surface, that means the Earth can't be a ball. Shit, I was wrong.
they forgot about gravity and everything. I mean, like, I heard one person say he doesn't believe in gravity. Shit is
Well, it's not a
crazy.
belief. It's not a belief in gravity, right? It's
Yeah.
like what is gravity?
Whether you believe or not, like, gravity exists. Like, it is the force that is keeping us together from, like, it is the force that is stopping us going into
Hmm.
space, when you jump.
Well, is gravity keeping all of my skin together? Like,
I mean,
my heart would be the center of my body, so that means my heart would be the gravity for my body, right?
your
Like, I
body
don't
is
look like a
being,
sphere.
I mean, like, your body is being held together by atomic force.
Yeah, that's what gravity is being held together by atomic particles.
Gravity, it's kind of different than that. Like, it holds it, like, okay, they are kind of similar, but not similar, if you get what I
Let me ask you this: could gravity work on a flat Earth?
mean. No, but if gravity like applied on a flat earth, the earth would like collapse on itself in a matter
Like
of minutes.
on if the surface of the Earth was flat, right? If it
Yeah,
was just a very large horizontal plane, could things
yeah.
still fall down on Earth?
I mean, first of all, like, the earth wouldn't exist because it will like destroy, like, gravity would
What?
destroy the.
How? When have you seen gravity? The lack of gravity rip everything apart.
Wait, I didn't understand your question.
When have you ever seen the lack of gravity rip everything apart? It can't be. It can't be physical matter because a black hole
On a
is
movie.
void of matter, right?
No, like, black hole has a strong gravity. It has the strongest
Right, but
gravitational force.
there's no matter in a black hole, right?
It has like it sucks everything in. That is what it does.
Right, it has mass, but it doesn't have matter, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Right. So if it doesn't have matter, then mass is independent of matter, but yet we say that the Earth has mass because it has matter. So
Hmm.
let me ask you this: If is is gravity the reason the Earth is a sphere?
Yes, it is. It is like how it works. Like, if the Earth was not a sphere, the Earth wouldn't exist because gravity would
Okay.
like destroy it in seconds.
Okay. How big is the Earth?
I think it is about like 12,000 kilometers in diameter.
12,500 kilometers in diameter.
Yeah,
How tall are you?
I am 5'6".
Okay. So from your eyes, when you're standing at the beach, looking out over the water, right?
Hmm.
From your eyes, how far away is the horizon?
Maybe 1 to 2 kilometers, maybe
One, how far?
1 to 2 kilometers.
Well, that's a small ball, man. That would make your Earth about uh 8,000 kilometers in diameter, not 12,000.
I mean, I don't know the exact distance. I'm just
Probably
like
even less
giving
than
you.
that. Probably like 5,000 kilometers.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, have you ever been to the beach?
Yeah, I have been to beaches in my life.
And have you ever like looked out over the water and seen things really, really far away?
Yeah, I did.
And then how far away were those things that you saw?
Like I said, 1 to 2 kilometers.
That's it, man. I've seen things 25 kilometers and further away.
Maybe you are taller than me. Maybe you are standing at a higher elevation than me.
Nope. I was standing at sea level, and I'm 178 centimeters, so 5'10".
Mhm.
Yeah, when I was little, I used to watch. Actually, I was littler, so I guess I wouldn't be 5'10" then. I was probably like 4 foot, 4.5 foot tall. I used to watch boats leave Los Angeles and like cruise boats, and
Mm. Like,
I got a phone call, so I'll be right back. But they would dock 20 miles away on an island, and they would never go behind the curvature.
hmm.
My apologies. Where did we
Okay,
leave off?
so you said you have seen a ship sail for 20 kilometers or something.
Yeah, like 25 kilometers or more, and I can still see the whole ship.
Hmm. But if the Earth were to be like truly flat, you would see everything, right? If the Earth is truly flat, you would be able to see like at least hundreds of kilometers, right?
Why?
Why?
What makes you
Because
think you could see that?
if there is nothing blocking your way, like if there is no mountains or anything that are actually blocking your way, then you would be able to see everything, right?
Does the air have thickness?
It depends on the weather condition. If it is hot or cold,
Oh yeah, no. There's observations where people are 1,000 feet in elevation, making an observation of another mountain 370 miles away.
yeah, if they are like at an elevation, they would obviously see more of the ground, right?
I'm sorry.
If they are at a higher elevation, then they would obviously see a lot of ground, right?
So from that observation, when they make that observation, the mountain that they see is supposed to be 1,000 feet underneath the earth.
Hmm.
The horizon would be like something like 230 miles away, and the distance of the mountain is actually 370 miles.
Hmm. Interesting. Uh, like we are living on a pretty big sphere, right? If the sphere were to be small, then you would not see a lot of like since we are living on a sphere that is very very big, it would almost feel as if it is flat, right?
Say that again.
See, like take a ball, right, and make that ball very big, like as big as our planet. Then you, if you are standing on top of that ball, you would feel as if though you were on a flat surface, bro.
Again, like the consequence of geometry is supposed to get in the way of your observations. And the problem is it doesn't. Now, we do have limitations in our vision, something called angular resolution. We have the limits of our optics within the conjugate focal plane. And then, if you've ever heard of the Rayleigh criterion, um, as things get further and further away, they become imperceivable, reaching the optical limits. Uh, they would call that the vanishing point, right? The ocular limit of your vision. Um, let's see. You also have to combat the thickness of air, and then the weather. Depending on what the weather is in the air can actually get thicker, right? On the clearest of days, you can see very far, and then the less clearer the day, the more atmospheric conditions there are, the less further you can see. Correct?
Yeah.
Right. So there's limitations to your vision all around. So the idea that you could see Paris from New York is just an absurd uh, uh, request. You're not going to see 1,000
Hmm.
miles. Air is thick, right? It's mostly transparent, but over distance, it becomes more and more opaque.
Mhm.
So you don't need to go really, really, really high if the Earth is a sphere or flat. What you need to do is you just need to make a long distance observation from the surface of the Earth and then see if the geometry of the Earth gets in the way.
I mean, if I'm being honest, we don't even need to like do anything. Just take a telescope, look it in the sky. You'd maybe see Mars or Venus, and they are clearly, very clearly, spherical in shape. So, you know, that's that. That's the proof.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry. I've got a conversation, another
I mean,
conversation I'm having right now.
okay, okay. If you
Go ahead.
want proof, if you want proof that Earth is sphere, just take it. Just take a telescope, look it in the sky. You'd maybe find like Venus or Mars. Just look at them. They are obviously very spherical in shape.
Yeah, we're different. We're not like them.
So, do you think since they just because they are spherical, that doesn't mean our Earth is also spherical? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, just because you see clouds in the sky, does that make the Earth a cloud?
No. But
So
but
then,
if you
if you see
like,
spherical things in the sky, why would you think the Earth is spherical?
I mean, if you look at another human being, just because they are human, does that make you human? Like that is how your question sounds.
Say that again.
If you see another human being, would you say just because they are human, you would also become a human?
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
If you see another human being, would you say just
Mhm.
because they are human, you would also become human or not?
No, if you see a tree, would that make you a tree also?
We are going like if we like this is the comparison problem, right? If we compare something, sometimes it is true. Like not sometimes, like
If
we
you
have
s-
to compare the thing.
if you see a white person, does that make you white?
No, that makes me a human, right? We are still both humans.
Yeah, but
The
that's
same
not
thing, like
you have nothing to compare. You're assuming the Earth is a sphere. You're not assuming you're a person. You can look at your hands and look at another person's hands, say, "Oh, they have hands, I have hands." You can look in a mirror and say, "Oh, I have eyes, I have a nose, I have all of these features that match the same exact other person." That person goes pee, you go pee. There's a lot of similarities. They eat lettuce, I eat lettuce. There's a lot of similarities there. When I look up in the sky, I don't see water, I don't see life, I don't see streets, I don't see grass, I don't see trees, I don't see clouds on other planets. All life only exists on Earth. There's no comparison in the sky.
Maybe like we don't know that whether or not aliens exist. Maybe they could exist in other solar systems, maybe not in ours. You could not say that we are the only living beings in the entire universe, right? It is very
Yeah,
likely
you
that we
can.
exist.
There's no evidence to support it otherwise.
Why is there no evidence? Like we have like proof that there could exist, life could exist in other planets that have similar
No, no,
conditions
you
to
don't.
Earth.
Prove it.
We have already seen like I think the name was
Did you see
Kepler
it?
2.
Have you seen an animal walking around on another planet?
I mean, we have like send animals to the space. I mean, not to the planet, but we still send them to the space,
No,
right?
we haven't. We've never sent another animal to another planet.
Not planet, but maybe space, right? So animals have been
Like,
in the space.
we sent a monkey like 70,000 feet up. That doesn't make the
Mm.
Earth a sphere.
Oh, wait. What about the pictures? Like, we have a lot of pictures of Earth from satellites.
Can you go verify that those pictures are taken from where they're taken at, or could they just be computer composites?
I mean, I don't
How
think
do you
like
know?
we have pictures that are like 70 or 80 years old, but at that time we don't have the, yeah, like features of AIs that we can generate images.
Do you want to see the first picture from space? Let me show you the first picture. No, I know he's way off the surface. You're not even looking at the Earth anymore. He's talking about other planets in a far, far away
Mm.
galaxy that nobody can verify.
Just because you cannot see it, that doesn't mean it exists, right? Like you cannot see like Wi-Fi signals, but just because you cannot see Wi-Fi signals, that doesn't mean Wi-Fi doesn't exist, right?
But you can test for it, right?
Yes, we can also test for other planets.
Yeah. So when are you going to go out into outer space and test for outer space?
Maybe if I am rich, I would go, but I'm not rich.
You would never get to go.
Yeah, that
What is
is
the
more.
process? What is the process for becoming an astronaut?
We have to study a lot. We have to like go through excruciating, painful, like very painful experience to
Like what?
in order to like you have to like survive. No? How should I put it? In
Well,
order,
that doesn't tell me nothing. Do you want me to tell you what the real process for becoming an astronaut is?
what is it?
So the first thing you have to do is you have to join the military,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Maybe that is
The
in your
next,
country.
and when you
In
go,
my
when you
country,
join the military, you got to become a pilot.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
Once you become a pilot, then you have to become an elite. You not only have to be a pilot, but you have to be the best, right?
mm,
So you have to be selected from that list of pilots to go into another program, right?
mm,
From that program, you're then moved out of the military and into NASA, which is still a government program, right? You're still going to be a pilot. You're still going to fly. You're also going to take scuba diving class,
yeah, we do.
right? From that, you'll be selected into another group of people that actually get to work on mission oriented um, activity, right?
Mm,
From that, they take a selection of a very few people to actually be considered to go up into space to get their astronaut. So
mm.
you see how there's a huge selection process in order to get
It is.
through? You would never become an astronaut. It's impossible.
I mean, if I really, really try, I may become, but it is not. It is not zero, right? the likelihood of me becoming an astronaut is not zero. It may
Uh,
be
it,
it may
it's
be
not
close to
one.
zero. Yeah, it is
It's
not
not.
one, but
It's not 1%. That's for sure.
it is also not 0%, right?
It's statistically significant enough to just say zero.
But we humans have like you know under like
How
situations
how many people live
yeah
on Earth?
about 8 billion, 8.5 I guess right now.
How many?
8.5 billion.
All right. So out of 8.5 billion people, how many of them have actually been into space?
Less than 1%.
Give me a number. A million? Less than 1%.
No,
That would be like let's see, 8 million would be 80 million would be 1%.
no. Zero. I mean, like, I don't know the exact number. I think it is less. It is close to like 100. Like, if you're talking about just the space, then it would be close to 100. But if you're talking about going on to other planets, then it would be like in the tens.
So there's roughly 400. It might be higher now. It might be around 500 people in history who have ever gotten their astronaut.
Hmm.
Of those 500 people, less than 30 people claim to have seen the Earth as a sphere.
I mean, like, maybe the rest of the people did not say it. Maybe they never asked them.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say nobody's ever seen a sphere, and that those
Wait,
30
wait,
people are lying to cover up for the government.
wait. Has any person in the history that went to space has told you that Earth was flat? No, right? They did not say Earth was flat.
Yeah, there's two astronauts that have gone up into space and said the Earth was flat.
Who? Wait. Really?
Yeah, a Polish astronaut and a Russian astronaut.
Okay.
Here, I'll put them in the side chat. It still doesn't prove whether the Earth is a sphere or flat.
Hmm. I mean, I'm looking up the information, but it says not a single astronaut ever claimed that Earth is flat.
Yeah, Igor Volk, who's a Russian cosmonaut,
Wait.
said the Earth was flat when he went up into.
Where is that? Where are those names?
Yeah, here, listen. I just posted it in the side chat for you. This is his
Okay.
story.
Oh, he's on X. Shit, I don't have an X account.
And then Miroslav Hemazewski, he's a Polish cosmonaut. He went up in space and said the Earth's flat also.
Wait. Let me look it up.
Here you go. Here's another one.
He, he says
There
that
you go.
he did not say Earth is flat. Claims
Yes,
suggest
it is.
otherwise are found based on misquotations or fabrication.
No, that's propaganda telling you to not look at the fucking evidence because he says it in his own words. Why don't you watch the video I sent?
Hmm. Is this video only on X or it is available on YouTube?
Hmm.
Hmm? Like, can we see this? Has this video been uploaded to YouTube?
I'm sorry?
Has this video been uploaded to YouTube?
I took it from YouTube. I don't know where the video is now. I can find it. Take me a little while. You can't just search flat Earth on YouTube because it's not gonna. give you the people who say the Earth is flat. It's going to give you all the people telling you the Earth is not flat because they don't want people to know. They intentionally bury flat Earth on YouTube, and they actually had a congressional meeting about it in the U.S. government.
Wait. You said that since I can never like go to space, I can never see that Earth is sphere. But in the same way, you cannot. I mean, it is also most likely that you are not going to space, right? Then you also cannot say that Earth is flat. This is since you cannot like go and see it for yourself.
Does water curve around a ball?
I mean, if because of gravity, the water is sticking to it. I already told you that.
Yeah. Where are your measurements to prove that it's curving around the ball?
I
We've
mean,
measured
I'm
it
not.
flat. We've got laser observations. There was a 10,000 mile radio wave communication that occurred. Like all evidence points to a flat Earth.
I mean, if you're talking about evidence, there are like a lot of evidence that Earth is spherical in shape. Like you can just look it up. Since you said evidence doesn't prove that Earth is sphere, we have to like look it for ourselves. Then you have to go out there and look it for yourself. Since you cannot do that also, just like me, then you can now say that Earth is flat.
So here, look, dude.
If it like it is okay that you said there is evidence that Earth is flat, that is okay. But there is
Do,
also
do you
evidence
do
that
you
it is spherical.
let me show you this, okay? Do you understand this image that I posted just now? Calculating the horizon distance on a planet.
Yeah.
So you see all the variables in there. C is the center of the planet, right?
Mm,
R
Earth
is the
is.
radius, right?
Mm,
You understand that?
yeah.
All right. And then so you see how H is the observer's height, and then O is the observation, right?
Yeah.
And then you see that little d is the distance from the observer to the horizon. H is the
Mm,
horizon.
mm,
So if the Earth is a sphere, the horizon has to be at the specific distance based on the observer's height. If it is
mm.
not, it can't be a sphere.
I mean, it is like if you like go to higher and higher elevations, then you would obviously see more of the Earth. So the
Yeah,
horizon.
that's called angular resolution.
Mm,
As like, when you're staring at your TV, right? If you're looking at
mm,
your TV from the side, can you see the full picture of your TV?
no.
But if you move yourself out in front of your TV, you can see more. As you move further and further away from the wall, you can start to see more of the TV, right? As you get further and further away,
Yeah.
right? So you can see more and more further as you get higher in elevation. An
Mm,
example of this, if you go in a warehouse, right, go into a large building with an
mm.
open space, and go put your phone on the ground at one end, and then go lay down on the other end with your face on the ground, and try to see if you can see your phone.
How can that work? I cannot see my phone.
Right, because it becomes imperceivable with the angular. I'm going to use bad terminology here, but like with the conjunction of the focal point in your optics, because everything converges off into the distance. So your phone becomes imperceivable with the horizon of the floor on the ground.
I'm being honest, I did not understand what you're trying to say. You have thrown a lot of variables, right?
So you see this image that I just posted?
Yeah, object space, image space.
Right. So this is how this is how your vision works, right? So on the right is how everything light is all refracted into your retina. And
Hmm.
on the left is the optical field of your field of view.
Hmm.
That's why when you look off into the distance, everything seems to converge into the horizon. It's not because the earth is curving, it's because of how your eyes use perspective. That's why, have you ever taken an art class before?
No.
So you've never seen how they make buildings look like they're shrinking in size
Yeah.
as they move away?
Okay. Okay. I know about them. Perspective, like
Right,
foreshadowing. I know. I know about them.
right. So that's literally, right. I'll give you an example right here. This is perspective. This is how your vision works. Everything converges from the top down and the bottom up into the vanishing point off in the distance, which is called your horizon.
Hmm.
So as things get further and further away, they appear to shrink in size. They don't go behind a curve. It's just once they get to a certain point where they're so small that they're indistinguishable with the actual Earth itself because it's so far away, then it just all blends in and looks like the horizon.
Hmm.
It's there. If you had an optic strong enough, it would bring it back into play, given that you could see far enough through the air. But again, once you start reaching 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 miles, it becomes almost impossible to see that far because everything becomes grayed out and opaque and indistinguishable.
Hmm.
Like light has an extinguished limit, right? Like that's why if the sun's over your head and you dive under the water and you go down 200 meters, there's no more light because light can't penetrate the water. Same things with the air. The air isn't as dense as the water, but there's still a density to it, which is why when you look up at the sun above your head, if you stare at it, it'll blind you. But if you look at it on the horizon, it actually kind of feels good in your eyes a little bit, right?
Hmm.
Because that light is traveling through more air.
Hmm.
That's why you can't see forever.
Oh, what is this? Did the curvature of the earth the brings the top of the mountains and so down towards the horizon? Or did this?
You see how far away the SUV is in the image?
Yeah.
You see how far away the people are, but yet it looks like that guy's about to step on all of them.
Yeah. And that is because of the placement of camera, right?
No, it's how your vision works. That's what perspective is. As things
Yeah.
get
Like.
further and further away, the angle gets wider, and you're able to, and everything converges to the distance.
Hmm.
That's optics. That's optics 101.
Yeah. That is true.
So anyway, if we scroll up to the top, Platter um, posted an image at 36 minutes or so above what I was posting. Did you see those two images? Should be one each, or two images side by side. One shows
Hmm.
curvature, one shows no curvature.
Hmm.
Did you see how if there was curvature, if you had like a laser or a tangent, that there would be deviation from the tangent? And that would be a measurement of curvature.
Yeah.
You see how that works? But then when you don't have curvature, then the tangent line is parallel to the surface.
Hmm.
So, I mean, like, with all of these explanations and evidences for the lack of, you have any evidence for curvature?
I am not prepared to answer any of these questions because it's
So
like
you don't
the
know the Earth is
place.
a sphere. You just believe it.
I mean, like I know it is a sphere, but I do not have the like you have presented you have brilliantly presented your argument. Like you have given me mathematical formulas here, diagrams here, and everything. But I do not have any of those to explain to you right now. I will come later
Yeah.
to
So
explain.
you don't know the Earth is a sphere. You just believe it because you think somebody else figured it out, right?
I mean, in some aspects, you are right, but it is gravity that is holding me back from believing Earth is flat. Gravity is the
What do
only
you know
thing.
about gravity? What do you know about gravity?
Gravity is a force that pushes everything together. It
How
attracts
did you fig-
everything.
How did you figure that out?
I mean, just the fact that I cannot, if I jump right now, I'm not like going for miles and miles into the space. I'm just like jumping only a few feet from the ground. That
How do
is
you know
why I
that's
can.
gravity?
What else it is? Do you think someone is invisible, like pushing me down? Like, what else do you think?
I, I don't think anything of it. I think heavier things displace lighter things. That's obvious. Now, your definition of gravity of mass attracting mass pulling inward towards the center of mass, like,
Hmm.
who gave you that idea?
I studied in from books.
Okay, so you didn't figure that out on your own. You had to read it
Yeah.
somewhere and listen to a teacher tell you about it. That the teacher themselves, if you actually had any understanding of logic and asked any question contradict what they're saying, they wouldn't have had an answer for you as well.
Hmm.
You wanna see a group of astrophysicists tell you that they don't know what gravity is?
No.
No, you don't want to see it. It's only a minute long.
Okay. So send me the video.
Yeah. So if you look in the side chat, you know who Bill Nye is? Bill Nye the Science.
For him, I see him quite a few times.
Hmm?
Yes, I know him. I've seen him quite a few times.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what if I told you that in the beginning he used to say that the Earth was an enclosed system and that there's nowhere else to go?
Hmm. But that was in the beginning, right? He still says about those.
Um, before he became a science communicator, he was actually talking. He was actually telling the truth about science.
Hmm.
There's a video right here of him saying that there's no leaving Earth. There's nowhere else to go.
We cannot leave low orbit. What does he mean by a closed system? Like, does he think that nothing exists out of Earth, outside of Earth?
Well, you can't have gas pressure without a container, right?
The universe itself is not a container because it keep
No, no, no.
expanding. Right?
If I create a vacuum
Hmm.
and I suck all the air out of the vacuum, right, to where it's
Hmm.
devoid of matter, in the vacuum, right?
Hmm.
Now we've created space, like outer space, like you call it. And
Hmm.
then I reintroduce gases into that space. What's going to happen with the gases in that container? Are they going to
They
stick
would
together and form a ball?
no, they would try to occupy the space.
Right. And the gravity of Earth is not going to force the little bits of particles to lay down at the bottom of the container, right? Like it's going to be expanded in all directions, right?
Yeah, that is what is happening right now. The air is not sticking only to the surface, but everywhere. Like you can find air everywhere on the earth, right?
Right. So the idea that you have this infinite vacuum of space, right? Because we created a vacuum, and like even if let's say the vacuum itself was 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet, right? So 1,000 cubic feet, and you sucked all the air out of it, and then you reintroduced a little bit of air back into it. But you're here on Earth, so Earth's gravity is taking effect. The gases are still going to spread in all directions and fill the entire space. They're not going to lay down because of Earth's gravity pulling them. So gravity's out the picture. Whatever gravity is, it's not what you think it is. It's not what you've been told it is. Are there things that are heavier than other things? Yes. If you want to talk about the Latin word gravitas meaning weight. What is weight? Weight is uh, uh, F equals or W equals mg. In the same equation, W equals mg, F equals ma is a perfect uh, uh, substitute for that equation because weight is force, right?
Yeah.
And you have mass, right? Mass is mass. So weight
Mm.
becomes F, W becomes F, W equals mg, F equals ma. Gravity, all gravity is an acceleration.
Mm.
It doesn't do anything else. So you can get rid of all of gravitational equations, and you can just use F equals ma, and that works just as fine. You
Then
don't need gravity anymore.
what do you think gravity is? What do you think gravity does?
I don't know. Heavier things fall down,
Hmm. I mean,
right?
not only heavy things, right? Anything, even if it very light or very heavy, everything like
What
falls
happens if I
down.
drop a what happens if I drop a helium balloon?
I mean, it is it cannot like go outside of Earth, right? It may go,
Nothing can go outside of Earth. It'll just go up to the area where there's equilibrium.
yeah.
All objects on Earth seek equilibrium. It's not about mass attracting mass. It damn sure ain't about pulling inward towards the sun. You can't prove that.
Mm, yeah, with my current knowledge, I cannot do that.
No one can.
Mm.
If they could, this channel wouldn't be here.
Mm, you are right. Like, and I respect the people like you know, people that do not like believe in everything and question things. Like, I respect people like you. I do the same.
Good. It's all about repeatable evidence, right? If you're shown evidence, you should be able to reproduce uh, exactly what they're doing. If not, then the hypothesis is wrong.
Mm.
That's the whole point of science, right? The whole point of science is to remove bias by using the scientific method,
Yeah.
because otherwise you get a bunch of scientists who are money hungry and they'll sell you snake oil just to make a buck.
I mean, like that is the modern scientist, but previously scientists they're all about knowledge, right? They just want to like discover something, create something. That is their goal. Their goal is not to become famous or rich, right?
No, their goal is to absolutely. Have you ever heard
I
of
mean,
the term publish or perish?
yeah,
In science, if you don't get published, then you're forgotten.
yeah, that is true. But that is not the main motivation, right? Their main motivation is first to like create or discover something, then comes the publicity and everything.
Does
They
science
don't
make
do
money? Does science pay bills?
no,
Science is more of a hobby, right? Like it can be very expensive,
yeah,
right? And you can get very poor doing science. So then it comes along a billionaire and says, "Hey, I know you know science, but I want you to do science my way. What are you going to do in this? Are you going to
okay.
continue to do science in pursuit of the truth, or are you going to slightly give up your truth a little bit in order to get paid?"
Mm, it depends on the person.
Well, if the person has money, then yeah, they'll probably still maintain their pursuit of the truth.
Mm.
Let me ask you this: can you read in the side chat the definition of science?
The systematic study of structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, experimentation, and testing of theories against evidence obtained.
Okay. And then the old world meaning of science, like the etymology of science, is knowledge. The word origin.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, right, it says systematic study of structure and behavior of physical and natural world. So you're looking at the physical world around you, physical and natural world. You're not creating anything. You're looking
Mm.
around you, find something. Hey, I want to know how that works, right?
Yeah.
So now you've made an observation.
Mm.
Then you have to go do an experiment to prove your idea of what you think is making the observation
Mm.
through testing. You have to test it over and over. Most people think that just by doing an observation, that's good enough. Like, I don't have to do an experiment testing. Observation is science. I mean, you can sit there and you can take notes on what you're observing, but you're not testing. It's not,
Yeah.
you're just watching. Like if you watched 1,000 hours of pornography, does that mean you've now got a PhD in pornography?
No.
It's absurd, right? Like, watching is not science. Um, so when someone says they're an astrophysicist, what's what science is involved in astro?
I mean, they can only make observations, right?
That's all they can do. They make an
Hmm.
observation, and then they'll watch something move across the sky, and they'll take note of the time that it took to move across the sky, and then they
Hmm.
make math about it. That's it. There's no testing.
I mean, like I mean, in their like, how should I say? Like in their case, they cannot like actually experiment, right? They cannot like go to space and touch the planets and like they cannot do that. So all they can do is
Right.
like observation.
It's just an observation, right?
Yeah.
So now go down to pseudoscience. Can you read the definition of pseudoscience?
A collection of beliefs or practices mistakenly regarded as being based on scientific methods.
So again, astrophysics, what science is being done in astrophysics?
No, I mean just the observation part.
So there's no method to it, you're just observing.
Yeah,
So since there's no method to it, then we could call that pseudoscience.
yeah.
So astrophysics is pseudoscience.
I mean, it is not a belief, right? It says here belief, but they are not just believing it; they are observing it. Like if I say I believe in God, but I do not like observe God, but both are different, right?
Well, belief and knowledge are two different things.
Yeah, like
Once you have knowledge, you no longer need to believe.
yeah, yeah.
If you say, I believe I can hit a home run, and then you hit a home run, you no longer believe that
We no longer we have no longer need to believe it since we can already do it, right?
you can know it because you
Yeah,
don't
we
have to
know.
believe in it.
Yeah.
So it is belief, right? Because when you look at when astrophysicists talk about life on other planets, I believe that this is what's going on in the world. I believe that that is what's going on in the world. Like, it's all belief. They can't go there and verify it.
Mm,
I'll give you your gravity, bro. Shit falls down. If I pick up a rock and let go of it, it's gonna fall down to the earth. That's
mm,
that's as good a gravity as you're gonna get. You're not gonna get an explanation to why that happened. No one has an answer for why that
I
happened.
mean, there's still a lot of things we don't know, right? Like, why does life exist? Where does life come from? What is like consciousness? Why are like
Yeah. So
there are a
why
lot.
would we make up a story about it?
I mean, like since we cannot explain it, like like do anything about it, we just like assume something and say it, right?
Well, why would you make up a story about it if you don't know? Like if someone came up to you and told you a story and said, "Man, I was dating this supermodel the other night," man,
Mm,
and comes out that they were lying about it, why did they make it up? What if it didn't happen? Why would they make a story about
mm,
it? If they don't know that it happened, why would they make a story about it? Oh yeah, man, I know how engines work. All you got to do is this and this and this, and come to find out that's not how it works, and they were completely wrong. Why would they make a story about it?
mm.
The Earth is 4.6 billion years old. How the fuck did they figure that out? Who was there in
Uh,
the beginning to say, yeah, that's how it started?
we don't know that.
They don't. They're just making a story up.
Yeah,
Let me give you a timeline breakdown of some crazy stuff, right? So they say Eratosthenes figured out that the Earth was a ball by looking at shadows from two different locations that were roughly 500 miles apart, right?
yeah, yeah. Using a stick, I think.
Right. Did they have cell phones? How did they know what time to go to say, hey, mark it? That's when we get the length of the shadow, the angle of the shadow, right?
I mean, they have like different like tools, right? They look at the sun, or they do like a
Well,
water test or
it's an
something.
angle. It's an angle. It's two straight lines meeting together at a vertex.
Yeah, yeah.
All they did was had a stick straight up in the ground. And in another location, they knew that there was no shadow at a specific time of day. Funny thing was, the two cities that he did the observation in aren't on the same latitude or the same longitude. So then,
Mm,
how could they make the measurement anyway? wouldn't you want them to be on the same latitude or the same longitude so you can be at least consistent with something,
Yeah.
right? But
Mm.
aside from that, what did he do? He called up his buddy, said, "Hey, I'm looking at the sun and it's directly overhead. There's no shadow. What angle did you get?"
Mm. Zero.
Right? On
Mm.
top of that, geometry wasn't even a thing.
I mean, it is
Not
kind
back
of a
then.
thing.
No, not back then. Not during that time.
Mm.
That was a later on development, right?
Mm.
Fast forward into the future, we get to Copernicus, and he's looking at the planetary motion of everything, and he decides. Copernicus decides by looking at the transit of Venus, he assumes Earth and Venus are the same, and then from there
Mm.
he calculates uh, the distance to the sun based off the
Mm.
size of Venus, assuming that Earth and Venus are. How did he get the size of Venus?
I mean, he probably did some observation again.
I mean, like what? Like in order to know how far something is away, you'd uh, you'd have to know the angular size and compare it to its real size. So if I
Yeah.
didn't tell you that an object was 3 feet tall, and I didn't tell you how far away that object was, and then and I brought you to a location, showed you the object, and I told you to tell me how big is that object. I don't know, dude. How far away is it? Can't tell you, man. You got to figure it out. You got to guess.
Wait. I think there is a formula, right? Like, if we have the distance and the observer, like, if we have the distance between the observer and the object and the height of the object that we can see, like, at what height can we observe the object? If we have both of those, then we can, like,
No, no, no. I'm
tell the
just talking about Venus. If I put a ball up in the sky and I don't tell you how big the ball is, right? And I say, hey, how big is that ball? I don't know. How far away is it? You got to figure it out yourself. It looks like the ball could be 3 feet in diameter. Is that right? I don't know, man. What do you think? I can't tell you how far away it is, and I can't tell you how big it is. All we can do is guess from the angular size,
Hmm.
right? So that's Copernicus's whole thing. Fast forward to Galileo, right? Galileo
Hmm.
decides, even though the planets look like geometric designs that we see throughout all of nature, you know what? I don't think the Earth is the center of everything. Um, I think the sun is the center of everything, right? That's what Galileo does.
Yeah.
Well, in that time, it was blasphemy
Yeah.
to go against the scripture, right? You were
They
killed for that.
they like home prisoned him, I think, right? Home prisoned
Yeah.
him for.
So yeah, they home prisoned him, right? You know what house arrest is?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I know. Like, you
You just
cannot
have to
go
stay
outside.
home for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, is that really prison?
I mean, it is kind of better than prison, but it is still a prison.
Have you ever been on house arrest, or have you ever known anybody to be on house arrest?
No, no, I don't know anybody, and I have never been in a house arrest.
What do you think would be better, being at home for the rest of your life and not being able to go anywhere, or going to prison
Uh, I mean, how long do I have to go to prison?
for the rest of your life, starting
Then,
now, whatever your age is? I think he was like 39 or something like that. He was probably 33 when he came up with this idea, but that's neither here nor there. Um, So we'll just say 33. Let's say he's 33 years old, and then for the rest of his life, for the next 60 years, you either have to go to prison or you have to go to jail. What do you think you would pick?
I would choose to be at home in a home prison
Right.
or the
But
house arrest.
but the you just went against the church and what your scriptures teach you.
Mm.
And back then, I mean, they burned everybody at the stake and crucified
Yeah,
people,
they did.
and just for saying Jesus isn't God, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? You just said that, like in the Bible says the earth is the center of creation, and God loves us, and yada yada yada. You just went against that, and you're now trying to convince the whole world that the Bible is wrong. Do you think they're going to put you on house arrest?
No,
No, they're going to kill you, make an
yeah,
example out of you, right? So
yeah.
go from there, fast forward from there, and let's see, you're going to have Kepler's motion of orbits. Um, moving on from that, we're going to go up to George Bedell Airy. George Bedell Airy comes up with this ingenious ideas. Earth is supposed to be orbiting the sun, and they understand refraction, how light works really, really well back in the late 1800s. They decided to do an observation. Actually, it was a pretty good experiment. I'm going to call it an experiment where they make an observation with the telescope tilted at a certain angle, and
Mm,
then they do that with air inside the telescope, right? Normal conditions. And then
mm,
they make the same observation with water poured down into the telescope, knowing that if the Earth was in motion, a certain star would not be able to be seen through the telescope because the Earth would have the angle of the light coming through would have been bent in such a way because of the motion of the Earth.
mm,
Comes to find out, it didn't happen, and so everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, the Earth is not in motion, right?"
yeah.
So now they're like, "Uh-oh, we need to come up with another experiment." So fast forward a little bit later, Michelson Morley, they come up with an experiment and they decide to use interferometry. Do you know what interferometry is?
No, I don't know what it is.
So interferometry is basically what you do is you shoot a laser down a pathway into a mirror that splits the laser into two different directions, and
Oh, okay. I know it. I know it.
then it hits mirrors, and then they come back, and when they come back, they produce an interference pattern based off of the direction of the motion of the apparatus that the lasers are sitting,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
I know this.
Right. So they were looking for a specific interference pattern because if the Earth is going 7,000 miles an hour around the sun, then that means the light going towards the orbit that the Earth is heading in is going to be going the speed of light plus 67,000 miles an hour, and the light going uh, backwards behind the direction you're going, right, going away from you,
Mm,
it's going to be going the speed of light minus 7,000. And the way they calculated it out was roughly, so it would have been 15 kilometers per second uh, in one direction and 15 kilometers per second in another direction. When they meet back together, there would have been a 30 kilometers per second measurement based off of the interference pattern of it. And when
mm,
they did that, they didn't get 30 kilometers. They got something like 4 to 6 kilometers per second, which is extremely low. That's a whole other conversation. But it didn't produce that motion. So
mm,
now we have a completely stationary Earth with everything moving above our heads. Well,
mm.
they're looking out into space in the early 1900s. Um, they can't fathom the idea that Earth is a unique, special place, right? Edwin Hubble and a lot of the astronomers at that time were looking at the stars in the sky. They're learning about redshift and blue shift. And they're saying, oh, it looks like some of these stars are moving away from us. Some of these stars are moving towards us. And Edwin Hubble goes, that's very unique. It looks like we're the center of the universe, but based off of philosophical principles, I have to put that aside, and I cannot accept that answer. So we have to come up with some. So here comes Albert Einstein. He introduces special relativity. Well, in order to do that, he has to remove uh, a special uh, thing, right? He has to say that uh, space is an empty void vacuum with nothing in it,
Mm.
and we're moving through it, and our motion is relative because we're on the thing that's moving. It appears to look like we're not. If we were on
Mm.
the moon, it would appear that it would feel like the moon wasn't moving and that the Earth, everything was moving around the Earth or around the moon. If you were on the, that's what the, that's what the presentation would look like.
Mm.
So he does that. Everybody's all up in arms about it because it goes against everything that everybody's been working on for thousands of years. But it was
Mm.
the only way to explain away all the things that they were seeing that pointed us to being the center of the universe, just so they could put that all aside philosophically, say, we're not special, you're a speck of dust in an infinite expanding universe, you're meaningless, worthless. Don't worry though, people that are smarter than you are figuring it out as we speak, and we're going to take care of you.
Mm. I'm also
Every
like
time go
I'm
ahead.
also like starting to doubt right now. Like after everything that you said, I'm also like starting to doubt whether Earth is really spherical in shape or not.
Well, don't believe it just to believe it. Like, go out and
Yeah.
experience it for yourself. Don't even believe it because I told you not to,
Mm.
right? Like I don't that's not what I'm here for. My goal at the end of our conversation is for you to go and experience the world the way it comes to you, involving your
Mm.
five senses, right? Your sixth
Mm.
sense if you want to count intuition. But you know, how does it visually appear? How do your ears perceive it? How's your vestibular system? What's it smell like? What's it taste like? What's it feel like?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You can trust these senses that were given to you, and they were given to you, right?
Mm.
You didn't just develop it because of evolution,
Yeah.
right? It's going to keep you safe from about 99% of all things, right?
Mm.
Like you can still be stupid and make a bad mistake and do something that hurts yourself. But for the most
Mm.
part, your five senses are going to keep you safe based off of life,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
You can say, oh, well, how do you know oxygen is real if you can't see it or taste it or whatever? And it's like, why would that even cross your mind?
Mm.
When in the world have you ever seen oxygen to make the observation to then go out and create a hypothesis and then do an experiment that confirms your hypothesis?
Mm.
You're putting a lot of faith in a lot of people's hands. Do we know oxygen exists? I mean, we have devices that can measure certain things, right? That we ourselves cannot perceive. And
Mm.
then they seem to work with, based off of different things that we do. You
Mm,
can't point to a gas particle and say, "Oh, that's oxygen." You can't put your
mm,
finger on it.
I mean, like the air is only about 10% oxygen, 10 or 20%, I think.
What's
Oh,
that?
sorry. I think the air is only about 5 to 10% of oxygen, right?
No, they say at sea level the Earth is roughly 20 to 21% oxygen, like point oxygen, 74% nitrogen, and the rest of
Yeah.
it's carbon dioxide and helium and hydrogen, all these
Mm,
other gases.
mm,
It's I mean, I don't know, man. Um, like don't believe it just to believe it. Like
and yeah,
I
understand that.
know certain things because like oxygen, right? Like as far as oxygen goes, like I've never seen oxygen. I can't touch oxygen. Point to that was oxygen. But I mean, I was in the medical field. I worked with oxygen tanks or with high concentration oxygen, and then based
Mm,
off of the flow output, they would get it wouldn't be a measured um, percentage of oxygen, but it would be a calculated percentage of oxygen, right? You get 100% oxygen, 96% oxygen. I mean, even at like if you had 2 liters per minute nasal cannula, right? You increase your oxygen from 21%, 23%,
mm, mm,
right? 4 liters nasal cannula, 23 to 26, and it just keeps
mm,
going up from there. Um, like, but anyway, I could go into the minutia of all that as well, but that's just an example on oxygen, right? Um,
yeah.
uh, calculations, they're estimations at best. Like unless you can put your finger on it, like an apple, right? You can put your finger on an apple and say that is one apple,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Chemistry is a whole different attitude, man. I don't need to know uh, something is 40% this, right? You can eyeball it and it'll be good enough. What's the difference between 40% and 41%?
I mean, we cannot like observe that precisely. Humans are not capable to observe that precisely, right? We cannot like see a difference of 1%. Maybe we can see a difference between like difference of 5 to 10%.
Well, I mean, you can measure things and determine a percentage difference based off measurement, but
Yeah,
it's kind of really like a calculation at the end of the day. Like you've seen the ticks on a meter stick before, right?
yeah.
Who measured those to make sure that those were each a millimeter apart?
I don't know.
What's defined as a millimeter? What do they use to measure each?
I mean, it is there with like if he thinks that one finger is 1 millimeter, then it is 1 millimeter. Like if he thinks that length of the whole hand should be considered as 1 meter, then it will be like like it is up to the person that created it, right?
Right, but and that's what I'm saying though. Yeah, you got to start with your axiom
Mm,
and what you can prove first, and then from there you can start making other observations, formulating hypotheses, and then develop a method on how you're going to experiment that hypothesis.
yeah,
But
yeah.
once you can no longer prove your hypothesis, after that, it's just a story.
Mm,
No water's wet, right?
yeah.
How do you know water's wet? Anyway, probably getting late for me. It's probably late for you. Or is it early for you?
I mean, it is still morning for us. It is
No. So,
11 a.m. for us.
so you got a dose of this first thing in the morning.
Yeah, I mean this.
Were you expecting to wake up to this?
I mean, I'm expecting to talk to someone, but I'm not expecting to like change my mindset today.
Right. It's understandable.
I mean, I have
Yeah, no.
always been to question things, but I never really questioned this much about the shape of the earth.
Right. No, and the reason why we have learned so much about this because, you know, we would say, oh, the earth is flat. And they'd say, well, what about this? You have to go do research on that. Back.
Mhm.
Well, it says this and this and this. And then somebody will say, well, what about that? Now you got to go research that.
Mhm.
We just have these constant conversations all the time. On any
Yeah.
given day, any one of us can talk to 10 to 15 people, have a few hundred conversations a year.
Mhm.
It kind of gets ingrained in your head a little bit.
Yeah. ఆ, అమ్మా, ఒక నిమిషం వస్తుంది. All right, man. This nice meeting you. I have to go right now.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you, man. Have a great day.
Yeah. I hope we meet again and talk sometime later.
Sure.
Okay. Bye. Have a good day.
Later. You too.